selected to participate in the battle, well, to participate in the Second World War. He lived in Biloxi, Mississippi, and he took some of his friends with him to New Orleans, and where they had to report, Army or the Marine Corps. So he said Marine Corps, and the rest of his buddies from Biloxi said Marine Corps. So he dragged in about 5 or 6 of them. They also got to go to Iwo Jima.
Bob, why did you go in the Marines, not the Army or the Navy?
Oh, my brother was a Marine, so I kind of wanted to follow him.
This is your group that went to Iwo with you, right? Right here? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you recognize any of them, or can you say?
Oh, sure.
Oh.
Do I remember anything about it?
Iwo Jima, Japanese ocean citadel 625 miles from Tokyo. 8 square miles of volcanic ash, the most important 8 square miles in the Pacific. Iwo Jima is subjected for more than 70 days to the most thoroughgoing bombardment of all time, and the heaviest of all the last 3 days before D-Day. The invasion of Iwo Jima begins. The assault waves hit simultaneously on the dot. From now on, it's up to the Marines.
Where they would be, where the flag would be, how tall is this thing, how much far back I need to go. They had just lifted the pole off the ground, and it was on its way up.
You were on the ship still when they raised the famous flag that is the symbol for the Battle of Iwo Jima. That was just the beginning.
Could you see the flag on Suribachi?
Oh, yeah. Raised it on twice. I couldn't get the flag up.
I think for all Marines, it serves as a reference point for us, and that from day one we're shown that image, and then we're introduced to the hardships that your generation went through in order to make that image possible, and then we're constantly trying to compare ourselves to whether or not we could live up to that same level of courage and teamwork that you all demonstrated. And it's held as an example for all of us to try to follow and try to measure up to. So I think you could ask anybody on Camp Pendleton or any other Marine base, and they'd say that it's something that they try to relate to.
Yeah, 25th Marines was on the far right flank of the invasion.
That was his 25th.
Yeah, 25th Marines, and that's where.
So all these elements on Blue 1 and Blue 2 that were on the far right beaches, they would have gone up, and that's a natural. That's a natural.
That's
turn
what
that
he keeps showing us that
To the
when
right.
we went to the right.
Yep.
225 landed on Blue 1 elements of what were you an Echo? It was Echo 225.
Yeah.
So Echo 225 landed on Blue 1.
They went that way.
Yeah, this
So
way.
I can tell you.
We came in on to the right, and we went up to the right. They had the ship on the right. That's the Japanese ship landed there. And we used, when I went in, we used that ship as the pit point. we didn't get in the north side of the ship.
Were they firing at you? Were people shooting at you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Re-
I remember the first ship that landed, and they couldn't make it up the ship. Couldn't make it up to the land.
And were you shooting at them?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to talk about Duck and Wit that saved your lives a few times, or you saved their lives, or whatever?
Yeah.
Wit saved your life?
I don't think Duck did anything much.
Yeah.
Bob saved Duck's life.
What-
And
what-
Wit saved Bob's life. That's how that went.
What did Wit do, Bob?
Told him to keep his head down.
He kept telling me to go around and looking down, and he looked down at the beach, and there was a Japanese on the beach, but he was looking down at us. And he came around, and he got him in the side.
You know, you look at those videos and I think about the firefights that I've been in, and just watching, talking to some of the, you know, veterans, and you poke your head around a corner, you just don't know what's there. The casualties are so high that for you to find out what's around the corner costs a couple casualties.
Yeah.
Every time you do it, you don't know what's on the other side of that rock. That takes a couple guys to figure that out.
My dear mother and dad, just to let you know that I am all right and well. I know that you all have been praying for me, and that is what I needed. I went in on D+6 and joined the 25th Marines 2nd Battalion E Company. We went up to the front that morning, and was I scared, but I got over it pretty fast. They tell us that the radio was telling you all the straight dope about the battle, but I don't believe that anyone could tell about it. You would just have to see it to know. And I hope that I never see another one like it. I had some pretty close calls, but one time you all must have been praying mighty hard. I had my jacket on. It was in the morning, and I was just getting out of my foxhole when I heard a Jap rifle crack and felt my jacket pull. I got down and looked. It had a hole in front. It went in on the right side and came out on the left, but never touched me. Pretty lucky, huh? Well, I will close this. We'll write again tomorrow. All my love, Bob. Private R.M. Tremmel.
What do you remember of that?
Yeah. I remembered all of that.
Yeah.
Bob, were there bodies on the beach and stuff? And
Oh, yeah. There were. Once we got in, we got up the island. The bodies were still on the beach. When we went in to leave, they still had the bodies on the beach.
And you were the 6th day.
Yeah.
I've never been in a fight of this magnitude, probably nor anybody is of my generation, but there's certain consistencies that, you know, are elevated above the decade in which the fight took place, and, you know, going up that sand, you know, carrying bodies, sweating, fighting, you're thirsty, you don't know what's next, close calls, you know, all those happen all the time. you know, it's very special, and it's very difficult to describe.
And so you're going up and down each stretcher. I mean, he must have weighed 125 pounds, right? I mean, he was not a big man. But they were trying to get the wounded back to some kind of medical facilities. And he said it was just so hard to come down those volcanic hills and back up again, and you know, didn't always, it was very hard during the stretchers and that kind of thing.
Did you have to bring him all the way back to the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see these contour intervals on the map, and I see how much uphill travel you go, you know, over less than a mile span in very, very hostile terrain. And I think what Bob's letter stated to his parents is that there's no way to describe it, because there's no way to describe a battle. And it's unbelievable how hostile the environment is, and it's not just the bad guys. It's, you know, it's almost like everything is conspiring. Everything around you is difficult. The terrain, the weather, the equipment that you're wearing, how awkward it is to carry casualties up and down hills.
You know,
It's transcendent, because I thought about, you know, made me instantly think of the time I carried casualties and how hard that is, and close calls of almost getting shot, and how many times that takes place, and how it doesn't matter what part of the world you're at or what fight you're in, like there's common ground to be had with all Marines. And I mean, it's a hell of a fight.
What medal did you get from being on Iwo Jima?
that one, yeah.
That's it?
I didn't have to do, that's the one.
What that meant to the Japanese Empire is basically the beginning of the end. That now that all these bombers had a place to land and stage, you had an unsinkable aircraft carrier here, and Marines did what they are still tasked to do, which is to seize advanced naval and air bases, and that's what this was.
We're talking about John,
Where was he killed?
Tarawa. Tarawa. Your brother, John. is
John? Yeah.
How much older was he?
John was 18 months.
It was 1943. And that was one of the first of the Pacific Island battles. They couldn't get them up from the ship to the island, so they had to wade ashore. And they just got kicked off pretty badly. I think that only lasted 2 days, that battle. Yeah, Bob's brother was one of the casualties of that battle. And they're not sure. They don't have any remains. He's still considered missing in action. But they are going back, and they're doing a lot of research on the island itself, the airstrips. They can find out now that there's bodies. They went over an entire cemetery with. My daughter Susie is very anxious. She stays in touch with them all the time.
Well, he was killed November 21st, 1943, when he was 19. He was killed on Tarawa, and there's some conflicting reports. His buddy said he died right when he got off the boat. A mortar hit him. But I did there's a report out there that says he died 2 days later. So we're not really sure. He needs to come home. I don't want him out there kind of alone by himself. He deserves to come home, and then I think it would bring some closure to my dad if we were able to manage to put it together before he passes away. November 11th, 1943, he was killed 10 days later. Dear folks, just a few lines to let you know that I am okay and feeling fine.
this is the part that gets me. Mom, if you don't hear from me for a while, don't worry about me because I will be okay and I will write to you every chance I get and let you know how everything is. Tell everyone hello for me, and I hope everyone is in the best of health. And I will close for now, but I will write you again soon. With all my love and kisses, your son, John.
Do you remember when your brother came to Korea and you saw each other there?
Mm-hmm.
Which brother went?
Where's Donnie?
I was very fresh-faced and wholesome-looking, straight from Kansas. My girlfriend, who said, we will go to the Mexican village for dinner and we will find guys who are military, and that's where they all hang out, at the Mexican village.
That's not a very
And we
good
will
friend.
go there. So,
What do you remember about that night?
I remember when we went to the village.
but Bob and I hit it off because I didn't know what he looked like.
We hit it off.
My
La
sister
Jolla
got La Jolla.
Jolla.
I got Arkansas. Yep.
What was it like to leave, the family with 4 kids?
Well, we didn't have much to say about it.
I remember when he went to Vietnam in '67. I think I probably recall my mom's experience of the war as a military mom, as a young mother with 4 children. I was the oldest at 10, and then we were all 3 years apart, going all the way down to my sister Susie, who was a baby at the time. I remember kind of crouching around the couch watching my mother watch the news. And she would try and be strong, but I know many times she was really scared and kind of wiping away tears. It was a frightening experience for her.
I'm very, very proud of him, and then just kind of blown away. And I'm still learning new things about what he did that I can't believe he went through all that, because he never talks about it. He never doesn't talk about it because it seems to move him emotionally or anything. He's just never been really chatty or a talker.
Whenever we go to base and they'd have, he would be saluted and stuff, I was always kind of proud to be going anywhere with him when it was associated with the military.
I was very proud of my father. I was always proud of my father.
That was a good job.
Harden you, or you could just, you could have this appreciation for life. And he, I think, was more on that end, because I remember him always holding up babies and, Robert, this is the meaning of life.
Now live from Punch Bowl.
General Edward Chief of the National Guard Bureau is presenting the...
Raise it! Huh!
Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, the President of the United States and First Lady.
Well, he wanted to know what the hell I was doing there.
You know, there's just a quiet strength in my father, kind of a humble strength. He has a sense of humor. He's always had that. He's always liked to have fun.
You're one of the last survivors of Iwo Jima now. Well, how do you feel about that?
I was lucky. I was one of the few that got off the island. I was always glad that I got off.